Hello, everyone.
Morning.
And welcome to the People's Friend Facebook Live for this week. I'm joined by our illustrations editor, Sarah, and our features editor, Alex, to talk about the Oor Wullie's Big Bucket Trail, which is the latest, it's the second charity trail to feature the iconic DC Thomson character, Oor Wullie. This is the insert that you got in the Sunday Post. It's the map of the trail itself, but the trail is, I guess, a series of statues around cities in Scotland. So it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Dundee, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Perth and Inverness.
Not Perth. Dundee.
Not Perth.
Was it Dundee, Edinburgh?
There are some in smaller towns, though. There are a couple in Perth.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's one in Stirling and random places like that.
You can go around and see these in a selection of towns in Scotland. Probably best to see their website rather than trusting us, and take your pictures with them. They're incredibly well decorated, which is why Sarah is here, because Sarah decorated Oor Friend, which is the People's Friend statue, which currently is sitting on Dundee Law. There's a great video of Sarah, a time-lapse video of her painting the statue up on our Facebook page and on our website. But I think we'll probably just start with asking Sarah, how did you find it?
It was a challenge. It was really good. Something totally different to the usual day job. So it was really nice to work on just a totally different canvas, and
like a 3D, lumpy, difficult
lots
canvas.
of lumpy bits and awkward to get to places. So you were in lots of weird upside down positions painting. So yeah, it was really good.
So we've probably got a picture of it here, but it won't be seen very well on the camera. But what did you paint on the statue? And how, I guess, did you choose what you were going to put on?
So to begin with, I discussed with Angela, the editor, and Jacqueline, the design editor, a few ideas of what we were thinking about putting on it. So then eventually we came up with the idea to use inspiration from the J. Campbell Care cover artwork. And we wanted to link it to what the trail was doing with the 5 cities in Scotland. So we chose to use 5 landmarks from these cities. So Edinburgh, Dundee, Glasgow, Inverness and Aberdeen, which are all over the canvas. And then on the bucket, to tie in the 150th theme, we have the shiny gold paint under the soles of his shoes, and then some of the vintage covers from the early stages of the People's Friend, the early years. The magazine. So
what I quite like about our one is that it's one of the few that actually has a bucket beside it, a spare bucket beside it. So if you can visit it up on the Dundee Law, you can actually sit beside it and do your own
pose. As in fact, I think we've got a picture of you doing that that went up on the Facebook page earlier this week. So,
Are there many that have that? Do you know? There can't be many.
I think there are a few that have kind of different things going on. So I know there's one in the shopping centre near us that you can give a contactless donation. So it's actually got.
Oh, that's quite clever.
Yes, you can swipe your card on it. So that's really a good idea of getting more funds.
And kind of giving it a slightly more interactive feel.
And I think there are some that you sit on and they play music, or they make fart noises or something. So,
something suitably mischievous.
I think there are a few other interactive things like that.
Which is good, because
to check them out.
Everything that helps raise funds, because the last time this was on was actually just in Dundee, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
And even that raised an incredible like £883,000, most of which was through the auctions at the end, because once they've been on display, and they'll be on display till the end of August, 30th of August, then there's usually like a kind of farewell ceremony, they call it, which is usually down at one of the public spaces where all the statues go into one place so everybody can see them at once. And then they get auctioned off to anybody who comes along, usually local business people or organizations and stuff, and they go for usually pretty good money, tens of thousands. That's how they raised nearly $1 million last time, which is pretty impressive. And the whole thing was last year, not last year, but 2016 was just done in aid of the Archie Foundation, which started off as a charitable trust that looked after the children's wards at Aberdeen Hospital, then started looking after the whole of the north of Scotland, and then started spreading south to Tayside as well. So it covers a really huge area, and is making really big differences to the children's parts of hospitals. And this time it's also joined by the Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity and the Glasgow Children's Hospital Charity. So they'll all be benefiting from the funds raised at the end of this one, which looks set to be even bigger than the last one. So big bucks making a big difference.
Yeah, a really, really good cause, obviously, and there's been quite a lot of publicity. And the last one, I didn't really think it was very big. I mean, obviously it was big, but I didn't think that we went very big on it. Whereas this one seems to be everywhere. There's an app you can download, and you can go and kind of take your picture beside all the statues, and then you get little prizes for collecting them. And, it's been in all the papers, obviously. This little insert was in the Sunday Post. And local businesses hand them out as well.
It's becoming quite a big thing around the country, though, isn't it? I mean, this is the first Scottish National Art Trail. So there's been a few things. There was this one in 2016, and then there was the Penguins either last year or the year before. So you've probably seen them wherever you live in the UK. You probably started to see these happening. The company that was behind it or created the statues, which I think was Wild in Art, are based somewhere down, I think it's near the Peak District, and they create all the blank canvases that then go out for the designers to paint, the artists to paint. And they've done a few around the country. I think quite a few cities have had them. But like I said, this is the first one that's all around Scotland.
I think it's the first ever national art trail
in UK.
In the world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think so.
There's quite a few. There's 200. It's about 200 of them, I think, knocking around.
There are like 400.
Are the little ones as well as big ones? Because remember they did that last time,
that's before the little ones. I think there are 400 big ones all over the place.
Good Lord.
I think so.
That's bigger than
we thought. And then they've got schools to do little ones.
The wee ones, I saw there was tons of them. I was in Glasgow not that long ago, and at Glasgow Concert Hall, there was about 10 of them. I assume that they're official ones. I think it would be kind of harsh to have knockoffs given that it's a charity thing. But I don't know if they were all kind of waiting there to go other places, but there was probably sort of 5 or 10 of them sort of sitting outside the concert hall, because it's the steps up to Buchanan Gallery, so it's quite a central location, and it looks quite nice. I haven't gone on the trail or anything. I don't think you have, Alex, either. We've knocked around and seen the ones that are in the town, but you, Sarah, you went on a bus with some of the artists to go and take a look at some of these.
Yeah, so it was the first day that the trail was launched a couple of weeks ago. We had a kind of event where we just got on a bus and went around to see some of the sculptures in Dundee, take a look at them and see what they were all about. So saw quite a few of them. Didn't get to see all of them.
Did they let you off the bus as you went past them, or was it just like
some of them? It was quite a wet day, and some of them are in quite awkward, far out places. So we didn't get to go to all of them. But the ones that I saw, they're all totally different, totally really creative. So
and of course you saw them also when they were being painted, or at least some of them.
I saw a few of them being painted.
Kind of a big space where all the artists were all gathering together to paint them.
So it was really interesting seeing them all actually completed, and seeing everyone's process. So it was really, really good.
We have a comment here from Deborah who says that Brighton have done several public art trails, I'm guessing. So there must be. It's good to see that Dundee is obviously getting in on the act, considering the V&A and all the emphasis on culture and art in the city just now.
Yeah, it's quite good fun as well. We did it when my niece and nephew came up, and they were pretty into it. To be honest, I didn't know who the chap was, but they loved it. And then they came up and did the penguins one time as well, which was also really good fun. And of course, I think as a company, we bought a few of the original statues and the penguins as well when they did that for the Maggie Centre, and they were around the building, I think, as well.
Yeah, I remember the penguin. There used to be one on this floor sitting at the stairs.
Yes, was that another one that was painted to look like Ma Breen?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was an interesting combination. That was slightly frightening.
An interesting combination.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great.
And then there was Rod from Rubino.
Was there?
That one was really good.
But it's great. I just took a little look into what the Archie Foundation have done, and just they do amazing things. It's obviously, I mean, going into hospital is traumatic enough as it is, but for kids, you know, nothing was traditionally tailored to be different for kids and their experience when they go into hospital. One of the first things that the Archie Foundation did in Aberdeen was to transform the outdoor space. So there was a nice kind of gardens and stuff like that for the kids to go out and recuperate after they'd had operations and anything. And they used a bit of the money from the last one to help slightly reshape the operating theatres. I think it was possibly in Nine Wells. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Just so that the kids weren't seeing, I think, people that were going into theatre while they were waiting for it. So they were a bit removed from that. So
quite an intimidating experience.
Yeah, just a lot of thought. These guys put a lot of thought into just making the whole experience a bit better. The kids are already going through a difficult time. Helping the parents stay with them and stuff like that. So it's a really cool thing. So it's just really kind of fun to do as well. So.
Well, we're hoping next week I'm going to round up some of the People's Friends staff, and we're going to go on a whistle-stop tour of the statues in the town. So expect videos of lots of people looking out of breath. I think we're going to do the kind of challenge Annika approach, where we're going to have to do it in a certain amount of time. We just have to wait until I can walk again properly. That's the only thing that's stopping me so far. So the bucket trail is it's all over social media. It's if you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, it's hashtag OWBBT, and they're encouraging you to obviously take your selfies with the statues and share them and spread the word of what the trail is all about and what the charities are all about.
Yeah.
And we would like to do the same as well. So if you are up the law to visit Oor Friend, do take a picture of yourself and share it with us. We'd quite like to get them all together in a gallery on the Facebook page and show everybody. And the views up there are spectacular anyway. There's also another statue up there.
Yes.
I don't know
way at the back,
which one it was. That we saw when we took Sarah to do the official opening of the statue last week. This will probably tell us, but the chances of me finding out.
Yeah, I think he's got tartan trousers.
And he had a beard, didn't he?
I think he's got a ginger beard.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth the trip anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, especially up there with the view. You're right, it's a gorgeous spot. So do make it up if you can.
I think we'll probably leave it there. Other than to say, obviously, we do encourage you to do all of that stuff, and there is an app to download. So if you visit the App Store, you can kind of upvote statues that you have been to see. So if you want to go and upvote the People's Friend one, I don't think anyone would object to it. I don't know what we get for winning, but I'm intrigued to find out.
I should also say there's actually a feature about it in this week's issue, because it's the 29th of June issue. There should be a feature about it where we think officially. Well, we've kind of already unveiled your statue because there's been pictures of it on social media. But there's a little interview with Sarah in there, and we speak to Suzanne Scott, who's the artistic director of it this time around, was heavily involved with it the first time, who's an amazing illustrator, and Joanne McFadden as well, talented artist, who are both really key to getting the whole thing set up and stuff. So do have a dig through that as well in this week's issue. You'll find it in there. More information, and also for more information about actually following up on the trail itself as well.
Fantastic. Sorry about the buses in the background. We've been completely unable to close the window in this room. It's kind of like old school technical difficulties. The computer works, but the facilities are slightly less reliable.
Some of the bunting's gone a bit sad behind me.
Yeah, possibly. It's the thought that counts. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.